Blessed be the name of the Lord. Today I want to expand a little bit on this prevalent American theology of 7-year tribulation and pre-trib secret rapture. This is the version most commonly repeated by people. Lots of people believe this is how things are going to happen in the very last days, which is coming probably next year. But really, it's impossible to find a support for a secret pre-trib secret rapture and 7-year tribulation. More and more people are discovering that, I noticed. I'm one of them. I think the Spirit of God is convincing His people that this 7-year trib and pre-trib secret rapture theology is wrong. It mostly comes from Hal Lindsey. Lindsey came up with that in the 80s. I wasn't saved back then yet, so I wasn't really paying attention to Hal Lindsey. He popularized that idea. He wrote a book called Late Great Planet Earth, or something like that. And that was in California. He got a great following of ex-hippies, or hippies, I don't know. Everything comes from California first, right? And then that spread all over the States, and it spread probably all over the world. And Hal Lindsey was hailed as a prophet almost, maybe not almost, as a prophet. And none of his predictions actually came true. One of his big mistakes was prophesying that the second coming is going to happen in 1988. That's because he based it on a fig tree prophecy from Jesus, which is a true prophecy. And it says that this generation will not pass away. The generation that saw the recreation of Israel, symbolized by the fig tree, Israel will blossom, which it is blossoming now, putting out shoots and leaves. And Jesus said, the generation who saw Israel recreated will not pass away before they see the end of this age. So they will see Jesus coming. Those who saw Israel recreated in 1948 will see Jesus coming. And because the word generation is used, Hal Lindsey simplistically added 40 years, which is the length, one of the lengths of generation in the Bible. He added that to 1948, and he arrived at 1988. But this is not what the prophecy says. I don't know why people are so fixated on the length of the generation. Every time I post something about the fig tree and that prophecy, you get comments that, oh no, generation is 40 or 70 years. But this passage is not about the length of a generation, but it's about how long the Jews who saw Israel recreated, how long can they live? Does an average Jew, do they live 40 years? Or do they live 70 years? How long did your grandpa live? Was it 40 years? Was it only 70 years? Many people live to 90, especially Jews. They have good genes, and some of them live up to 104, 110. So is it possible for some of them to see the recreation of Israel in 1948 and to see Jesus in 2033? And the Jew who was alive in 1948, who was a small child in 1948, he would be 87 years old about in 2033. Is that possible for a Jew to live to 87 years old? Absolutely. So Hal Lindsey was wrong about that. And apparently when you Google Hal Lindsey prophecies, you get hits like Hal Lindsey's prophecies didn't age well. Hal Lindsey predictions didn't come true. None of the predictions came true, or something like that. So you should be aware of Hal Lindsey's prophecies that never came true. And one of the reasons is that the fig tree prophecy is not about a generation that's 40 years. People should finally came to the conclusion that this is not about the length of a generation being 40 years, but this is about how long people can live. And we also have to notice that the fig tree parable is in the context of the second coming. It's in Matthew 24, and in 24:30 it says, you will see the sign of the Son of Man coming. Everybody will see him, and he will gather his elect. That's the rapture. And that's going to happen after the tribulation of those days. So it's going to be after the tribulation. There is a tribulation. It's just not 7 years. So it says, then from the fig tree learn its lesson as soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves. And that's Israel blossoming. It has leaves now. It puts out shoots. And then we know that Jesus is at the door, very, very close. And then Jesus says, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. So this is in the context of the second coming. So basically this is a great prophecy, and it tells us how long can it be from 1948 until the second coming. And it cannot be more than 100 years, because average person lives 90 now maybe. Maximum is 120. But it's rare. So I would say 90 years is the average that a Jewish person can live. But Hal Lindsey said that generation is 40 years, so the return of Jesus should be in 1988. Wrong. And the other predictions of Hal Lindsey was this whole idea of 7-year tribulation and a secret rapture. And everybody's repeating that. And I don't think it's true. I don't think it's correct. What's going to happen is not a secret rapture. And somehow the last days, all the troubles of the last days, they do come to 7 years. But it's not one big tribulation. We have the rule of the beast first. He signs the covenant with Israel, dividing the Israel most likely. The mark of the beast happens. But then the beast wants more. Not just a part of Jerusalem to be given away, or Israel divided. He wants all of it because he wants to rule from Jerusalem. So he organizes a coalition of countries to attack Jerusalem. Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. That is the abomination of desolation, and that is the great tribulation for Israel, the troubles of Jacob. Many Israelites will die. It's going to be a terrible time. And right after that, Jesus comes back to intervene. And Jesus comes back to pour out his wrath for all those who dare to profane his holy place. The holy place is not the holy place in the temple or the Holy of Holies. It's the holy land, is the holy place, is the holy city, is Jerusalem. Those Gentiles who come to trample Jerusalem for 3.5 years, they are touching the apple of God's eye, and Jesus is not going to take it. That's why he comes. But a lot of Jews will die, and that's why 144,000 are selected by Jesus to preserve the DNA of Israel. 12,000 from each tribe. And this is, I think, another one of those mistaken theologies, which myself, I repeated that as well up to a couple of weeks ago, and then I was meditating on it, and I don't believe is the evangelists, the 144,000. I think it's another one of Hal Lindsey's wrong theologies. It's those people are not, because they come out during the time of God's wrath being poured out. And in the book of Romans, it says that all Israel will be saved. Well, how is that possible? We know that many Israelites are New Agers, they are atheists, they are anti-godly, they are stiff-necked people. So it's impossible for every single Jew to be saved. But all Israel being saved means that all of their genetic material from every tribe is preserved for eternity to be with God. That's the 144,000. They are standing with Jesus. He has to protect them because the times will be so dangerous, unstable. The great tribulation, the troubles of Jacob, and then the wrath of God being poured out on the whole world. There's going to be a lot of fatalities during that time. So God has to supernaturally protect those people. And the second 3.5 years of that time period will be the Gentiles trampling Jerusalem and all of Israel. And God is not going to appreciate that because this is still God's land. Gentiles have really they have no right to touch that land. The Jews are only renters, and it's given to them for forever. So Jesus will protect them, will fight against the devil. The trampling against Israel will last for 3.5 years, like I said, and it will culminate in the battle of Armageddon. And then Jesus will come out visibly, and he will fight against the devil and his supporters. And then we will move into the millennium, the time of rest. If you want more details on the sequence, please look up my videos. I have more detailed information, especially the last videos called Full Sequence of Events, Part 1 and Part 2. I bring up the biblical references, so everything is supported by Matthew 24, Book of Revelation, Thessalonians, and the Book of Daniel. Thank you for listening, and may the Lord richly bless you from Zion. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take us home, Jesus, you're the only hope. Oh, come and take us home, Jesus Christ, you're the only hope.